Have you ever stopped to think that some of the things you do might be quietly pushing people away, yet nobody feels comfortable enough to tell you? As the years go by, we naturally settle into patterns. Some of those patterns are grounding and even wise, but others can turn into blind spots. We might believe we're simply being ourselves, while the reality is that others around us notice, and even if they never say a word, their perception of us begins to shift. These subtle habits can influence how family, friends, and even strangers relate to us. In today's discussion, we'll walk through 12 unattractive habits that often appear with age, things people observe but rarely bring up. And when I say unattractive, I don't mean physical appearance. I mean behaviors that erode dignity, create distance in relationships, and diminish the respect you've worked hard to earn over a lifetime. Think of this as an invitation to self-reflect, not to harshly judge yourself. The point isn't to criticize, but to ask gently, is this habit still serving me, or is it making others keep their distance? The encouraging part is that most of these patterns can be changed once you're aware of them. By the end, you'll know what to watch out for and how to present yourself with more grace, confidence, and clarity. So stick with me to the end. You might discover that a few small shifts can make a big difference, both in how others experience you and how you experience yourself. Let's dive in. Number 1, letting personal grooming decline. One of the first things people pick up on, though rarely mention, is when someone starts neglecting self-care. This doesn't have to mean extreme neglect. It often shows up in subtle ways. Wearing the same outfit several days in a row, skipping hair care, letting fingernails grow too long, or carrying a faint odor that lingers. At first glance, these may seem insignificant, but they communicate something deeper, that you've stopped valuing yourself the way you once did. Hygiene isn't only about cleanliness, it's about presence. When we're younger, we maintain these habits almost automatically. As time passes, energy dips, routines shift, and some may think, why put in the effort? The problem is, the people around you notice. Most won't say anything. Younger relatives, especially, don't know how to bring it up without embarrassing you. Instead, they make small adjustments. They keep a bit more distance, shorten their visits, and avoid physical closeness. What they're reacting to isn't you. It's the signal your appearance sends. The truth is, when self-care slips, people unconsciously stop showing you the same level of warmth. But here's the good news. You don't need to dress like a model or buy fancy cologne. Fresh clothes, brushed hair, and trimmed nails say loudly, I'm still here, I still respect myself, and I still care about the people around me. People feel your energy before they hear your words, and good hygiene reflects vitality. When you care for yourself, you quietly invite others to treat you with kindness and dignity. Number 2, speaking without a filter. Another thing that tends to happen with age is that the internal voice that once said, maybe keep that thought to yourself, grows quieter or disappears altogether. You might start saying exactly what's on your mind, even proudly thinking, I've earned the right to be blunt. But what feels like freedom to you can feel uncomfortable to others. There's a delicate difference between honesty and harshness. If you've ever noticed people shifting awkwardly, avoiding eye contact, or pulling back during conversations, it may be because your truth came across as criticism. Comments about someone's looks, weight, parenting, or lifestyle, followed by, I'm just being honest, or people weren't so sensitive back in my day, often land more harshly than intended. Honesty without compassion is just judgment. Loved ones won't confront you about it. They'll simply start to withdraw. They'll call less, avoid longer visits, or stop sharing openly. They love you, but they're protecting themselves from stinging remarks. That doesn't mean you should muzzle yourself or walk on eggshells. It means pausing before speaking and asking, is what I'm about to say helpful? Is it kind? A simple guideline. If you wouldn't say it to your grandchild, don't say it to someone else. Wisdom wrapped in gentleness makes people lean in. Wisdom delivered with sarcasm or criticism makes them tune out. If you're finding these insights useful so far, drop a number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos. Your support helps us keep creating content designed to inform and inspire. Number 3, wearing outdated or ill-fitting clothes. Routine can feel comforting, eating the same breakfast, walking the same path, wearing the same outfits. But when it comes to clothing, consistency can sometimes slip into carelessness. Pants too loose, shirts too tight, shoes worn down, or styles decades out of date quietly signal that you've stopped paying attention. It's not about chasing fashion trends or dressing like someone half your age. It's about showing the world you still take pride in how you present yourself. Well-fitting, cared-for clothing says, "I'm still engaged. I still see myself as worth the effort." People notice, even if they don't say so. They treat you with a touch more respect and warmth when they see you showing up with dignity. Dressing for the present, rather than clinging to the past, communicates emotional presence and self-respect. And it doesn't require a full wardrobe overhaul. Sometimes, a fresh pair of jeans or a shirt in a color that flatters you can shift the energy of every interaction. Number 4, taking over conversations. After decades of experience, it's natural to feel like you have valuable insights to share. But in the eagerness to pass down wisdom, some people unknowingly dominate conversations. It can start innocently, jumping in with a story or offering advice before others have finished speaking. Before long, 10 minutes pass without anyone else getting a word in. While the intent is often helpful, the effect is that others feel silenced. Instead of saying less, try listening more. Ask questions, give space for pauses, and resist offering advice unless it's requested. The surprising part is that the less you lecture, the more people want your perspective. Listening builds trust, and people will seek you out, not avoid you when they feel heard. Number 5, criticizing younger people. It's easy to slip into the habit of comparing today's youth to the way things were. Kids are always on their phones. People in their 30s don't know how to work hard. Over time, these comments become a pattern. Every generation thinks the one after them is missing something. That's nothing new. But constant criticism doesn't make you sound wise. It makes you sound closed off. For children and grandchildren, especially, it feels like rejection. They respond by sharing less with you and keeping conversations shallow. Instead of criticizing, try curiosity. Instead of saying they don't know what the real world is like, ask, what challenges are you facing right now? That shift turns judgment into dialogue, and suddenly, connections strengthen instead of weakening. If you're finding value here, comment number 5 below. And remember, subscribing helps us continue to bring thoughtful content straight to you. Number 6, ignoring modern manners. As society changes, so do its unspoken rules. Things that were perfectly acceptable 30 or 40 years ago can now come across as inconsiderate. Many older adults unintentionally overlook these new norms, not out of malice, but simply because the world they grew up in operated differently. Take cell phones, for example. Talking loudly on a call in a restaurant or playing a video without headphones may have felt normal when phones were first introduced. Today, though, these behaviors are seen as intrusive. Younger people, especially, are quick to notice. They probably won't say anything to avoid sounding disrespectful, but they will silently judge, or worse, quietly avoid being around you. Another common one, blocking walkways in stores or standing too close in lines. Years ago, people weren't as sensitive about personal space. But today, spacing is a social cue. Ignoring it makes others feel you're out of touch. The truth is, nobody expects you to know every new cultural shift. But when you make an effort to observe and adapt, you send a powerful message. I'm still aware, I'm still engaged, and I care about being considerate. That awareness builds respect across generations. Small adjustments, like lowering your voice in public, standing to the side instead of in the middle of an aisle, or using headphones, speak volumes about your character. Respect isn't just earned through wisdom. It's also shown through awareness of the present. And people notice when you've kept that awareness alive. Number 7, dwelling on health problems. It's natural to talk about your health as you get older. Aches, pains, medications, doctor visits, they're a part of daily life. But when every conversation circles back to what hurts or what the doctor said, people can start to feel like they're stuck inside a waiting room rather than sharing quality time with you. Of course, your family and friends care. They want to support you, but constant focus on health can become overwhelming. It creates a dynamic where every interaction feels heavy, as though there's no room for lightness, laughter, or curiosity. Younger relatives, especially, may pull back, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to respond. They can't fix the issues, and they don't want to feel guilty for being healthy themselves. The key is balance. Share your struggles honestly, but also bring other parts of yourself into the conversation. What book are you reading? What memory came to mind recently? What hobby still brings you joy? By showing that your life is bigger than your medical chart, you remind people that you're still you, a whole person with humor, wisdom, and interests. Think of it this way. When you mix health updates with stories, laughter, or curiosity, people look forward to visiting. They don't brace themselves for a medical recap. They lean in, eager to spend time with you. Number 8, holding rigid beliefs. One of the most common but rarely spoken frustrations people have with older relatives is rigidity, the refusal to see beyond long-held beliefs. It often sounds like, "That's just the way the world is. People today are too soft. Back in my day, we did things right." These statements may feel like confidence, but to others, they sound like walls that shut down discussion. And what happens when people feel shut down? They stop sharing. They stop asking for your perspective. They slowly retreat, even though they love you. The world is shifting rapidly. Technology, gender roles, cultural norms, and mental health awareness. If you dig in and refuse to budge, you risk being seen as outdated, even when you have wisdom worth sharing. True strength isn't in clinging to the past. It's in showing openness, even when things feel foreign. Being open doesn't mean abandoning your values. It simply means replacing judgment with curiosity. Try asking, "Can you explain how that works today?" Or, "That's new to me, tell me more." You don't have to agree with everything you hear. Just being willing to listen keeps you connected and respected. Ironically, flexibility makes your wisdom even more powerful. People trust and admire those who balance experience with humility. And when you show that openness, you bridge generations instead of building walls between them. Number 9, moving without spatial awareness. As we age, our pace naturally slows. Our steps become more deliberate. That in itself isn't unattractive. Many people actually find it graceful. The problem arises when slower movement is paired with a lack of awareness about how it affects others. Think about it, standing still in the middle of a busy grocery aisle, suddenly stopping on a crowded sidewalk, or drifting to the wrong side in a hallway. These small things can frustrate others, even if they never say a word. They sigh, walk around you, or exchange annoyed glances with each other. And while it may feel unfair, what they're really responding to isn't your pace, it's the lack of consideration. The truth is, nobody minds that you walk more slowly. What people appreciate is when you stay aware, moving slightly to the side, keeping pace in busy spaces, or looking around before stopping shows thoughtfulness. It says, "I recognize that I share this space with others." Awareness transforms perception. Instead of being seen as someone who gets in the way, you're noticed as someone who moves with dignity, who respects the flow of the world around them. That small shift changes annoyance into admiration. Number 10, using humor that hasn't aged well. Laughter is one of the greatest connectors we have. A good sense of humor can light up a room, bridge generations, and make even strangers feel close. But humor is also one of the fastest things to go out of date. Jokes that once got laughs, teasing someone about their looks, poking fun at weight, making light of stereotypes are no longer received the same way. What once seemed harmless now feels cutting or outdated. You may think, "I've always joked like this," but the social landscape has shifted. The danger isn't that people will call you out. More often, they'll just laugh politely, change the subject, and make a mental note to avoid that kind of interaction again. Over time, this erodes the connection. The solution isn't to stop joking, it's to evolve your humor. Self-deprecating humor is timeless. Witty observations about daily life resonate across ages. Playful storytelling brings people closer. When your humor lifts others up instead of putting them down, people can't help but want to be around you. In fact, Humor that adapts with time makes you magnetic. It shows that you're still tuned in, still engaged, still vibrant. And laughter, the right kind, never gets old. Number 11, acting helplessly unnecessarily. There's a big difference between genuinely needing help and leaning on others out of habit. Sometimes older adults default to asking for assistance, even with tasks they could still manage. It may seem small, asking someone to carry a light bag, to operate a simple device, or to complete a chore you're capable of doing. But over time, these patterns create quite frustration in loved ones. People want to help when it's truly needed. They're happy to step in when you can't do something safely. But when they sense you're handing over responsibilities unnecessarily, they may feel taken advantage of, or worse, they may worry you've given up. Independence is magnetic. When you try, even if clumsy or slow, people admire you. They see your effort and think they're still strong, still fighting, still showing up. On the other hand, dependence without necessity communicates surrender. This doesn't mean never asking for help. It means saving those requests for moments when it really matters. By maintaining independence where you can, you not only preserve your dignity, you also increase the respect and patience others show you. Number 12, always needing to be right. This may be the hardest habit of all. After a lifetime of experiences, it's natural to feel like you've seen it all. But when that wisdom turns into a need to win every argument, correct every mistake, or dismiss new perspectives, people stop engaging. Think about it. How does it feel when someone corrects you mid-story or says, "No, that's not how it happened," or insists, "Trust me, I know best"? It doesn't invite closeness, it creates distance. Loved ones begin to share less because they don't want every conversation to turn into a debate. The truth is, being right often hides a deeper need. The need to feel secure in a world that's changing fast. But here's the irony. Wisdom isn't proven by how many arguments you win. It's proven by how often you choose connection over correction. People deeply admire those who can say, "That's an interesting perspective," or "I could be wrong." It shows humility. It shows confidence that doesn't need to dominate. And strangely enough, the less you push to be right, the more people actually want your advice. Respect doesn't come from always having the last word. It comes from knowing when to let the last word belong to someone else. Final thoughts. Now that we've covered these 12 habits, pause for a moment. Which of these sounded familiar? Which ones caught you off guard? And which are you ready to work on, even a little? This list wasn't created to shame or criticize. It's here to offer honest reflection wrapped in care. These habits don't mean you're a bad person. They're simply blind spots that creep in over time. The true mark of strength is not pretending they don't exist, but acknowledging them and making changes where you can. That's what growing older with grace is all about. Not clinging to the past, not fighting change, but choosing to step into each stage of life with awareness, openness, and dignity. Small shifts in how you listen, how you dress, how you speak, how you move can completely transform how others respond to you. More importantly, they can change how you feel about yourself. Thank you for spending time with us today. Share in the comments one thing you learned and how you'll use it moving forward. We love reading your thoughts. They encourage us to keep creating content like this. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to see you in the next one.